Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Frank, Mark, and Chuck from Intel.
Yep, perfect.
Hey.
Hey.
Hey guys.
How you guys doing?
Thanks for having us at TwitchCon. It's pretty cool being here. My friends and I, we got Chuck McFadden, Mark Chang, and of course myself, Frank Soki from Intel. We're here to talk about some pretty amazing things that we're doing with technology for gaming, with products for gaming. But I think what we're really excited about is this is the first ever TwitchCon. We're in the first Tech Talk session, so I'm sure the expectations are like crazy high.
No pressure.
That's all right, no pressure. But it's about technology and what we're doing for gaming, so looking forward to that. We're going to be covering of course, some technology capabilities. We'd be talking a little bit about QuickSync, what's going on there with that 3D camera capture for streaming. We're going to talk a little bit about QuickSync video and how that makes videos a lot smoother when you're streaming. I'm going to talk about some gaming rigs for desktop. How do you kind of make and go get your best gaming rigs for desktop platforms? And of course, we're going to cover what's going on with Notebook and discover what you should be looking for and asking for in the best gaming notebooks around. So let me start with Chuck. He's going to talk about RealSense cameras, Intel RealSense technology 3D cameras. I'm sure he's got 3D cameras on all your gaming rigs. I think he has cameras all over his house.
All over his house.
That's a good thing.
Outside and inside.
Not a bad thing, but Chuck, take it away, man.
Thanks. So yeah, we are. I'm part of the RealSense team at Intel, and one of the things that we do is work on what we call the 3D depth sensing camera. Real quick though, the idea of RealSense technology is to bring human senses to computers. So our philosophy at least goes beyond just a 3D camera. We want to really make the computer see you and hear you and experience the world as human beings would. Of course, that's more of an aspirational goal. We're clearly not quite there yet, but it's our intention to eventually get there. My specific role in this group is to, I'm kind of lucky in that I get to work on video games that use this technology.
We love video games.
Thanks. Yeah, I do too.
No, we do.
So
we do love
it works
video
for
games.
me. Sure. Yeah, so I get to work with a number of different developers all around the world that ended up getting really inspired by RealSense. And I'll actually show the game to you in just a minute. But seeing as how this is TwitchCon, we want to show how the camera can be used for streaming specifically. So I have in front of me here a camera embedded in this specific laptop, which of course you can buy. But one thing we did want to make sure everyone was aware of is the peripheral that has this 3D sensing technology in it. Not available on the market yet. It will be early next year. So keep an eye out for that. It'll give you the same kind of functionality that you're about to see on the screen here. So hopefully, if the guys in back want to switch us over to the actual game screen. Hey, there I am. So the idea is we have, using this camera, we're able to extract the background very much like you would see with a green screen, except clearly there's no green screen behind me. And for streamers, for someone like me, to be honest with you, I am not a well-known streamer. I generally stream for families and friends when we kind of want to hang out, usually with my parents who don't know what I do for a living. And maybe I want to show them the game I worked on and kind of have a more social experience with them. However, I also tend to be kind of lazy, so I don't like to clean my room. And I don't have enough space for a green screen. So this actually works really well for me. I can still have that social interaction with my friends and family without cleaning up, honestly. So the game I want to show as we're sort of streaming it, you can see me, there's no background behind me, and you can see the full game screen behind it. This game is Laser Life. It just released Tuesday of this week, and I'll be quiet for a minute so you can hear this cool music. Probably another reason why I'm not necessarily a famous streamer, nor will I ever be, is I tend to play video games and shut up, but not, or talk a lot and play video games, but not both at the same time.
You've clearly been practicing, Chad. That's good. That's good.
So anyway, you can see that I'm moving around. I can, I'm going to fail at this game for a minute. You can see that I can bring my hand into the environment, other hand too, and it handles it pretty well. The idea is this is a pretty convenient experience. You don't need, like I said, a green screen. You can add it. Actually, let me pause this for a second. Add a little real estate space. You can see the square here that is the camera's field. And normally, without the background extracted, all of this would be, you know, the space
Twitch
behind
logos,
me.
pretty much.
Twitch logos.
Twitch logos.
Which Twitch would probably be happy with if we bring that in. But with background extraction, you can remove all that. And it's as simple as turning it on. And if you have this kind of camera, there you go. It's good.
Very cool.
Thanks a lot. Back to you. Thank you.
Thanks, Chuck. I'm never going to stream again without that RealSense camera. You've got me sold. That's awesome. All right, I'm going to ask a couple questions here. Who here has heard of Intel QuickSync Video? Anybody? That's right. Who here has used Intel QuickSync Video when streaming? All right, here you go.
Duck.
It's a T-shirt in the shape of a T-shirt. So what we want to talk to you about at TwitchCon is really how you use Intel technology to make your stream better. That's the value that we're bringing to you here. So Intel QuickSync Video is one of the easiest ways to make your stream better. So the TLDR for it is get a smoother stream, you get more frame rates per second back in your game. That's pretty much the holy grail, right? If you're streaming or if you're playing games, you want more frames per second. And you also want a better quality stream. And I'm going to show you how you do that with Intel QuickSync Video. So first of all, we did all this testing right here on this simple little notebook right here. Just an Alienware 15. So nothing super fancy, not a crazy rig or anything like that. But all these, you know, all the stats here, all the testing was done right on this. And so I'm sitting here playing H1Z1, as I like to do, on my notebook, usually plugged in with a mouse. And now I want to stream. So what happens is when I'm streaming without QuickSync on? So you see what's going on here. This yellow square here is essentially a cross-section of our CPU. So the four little squares, those are the cores. So when I'm streaming and I'm playing the game, I'm cranking those cores, I'm cranking the graphics card. And as you can see, the CPU is really maxing out. It's getting 85, 90% usage, and it's kind of just peaking up against the top. And what used to be a great gaming experience, like I was playing H1Z1 perfectly fine before I was streaming, now I'm seeing that frame rate come down a little bit, right? And again, that's because the CPU is using software transcoding. Now, Frank, you know what transcoding is, right?
Yes, compressing. Moving it to different formats.
All right, so pretty much anytime you're streaming, you're transcoding. Anytime you're rendering for VOD, you're transcoding. Anytime you're ripping a video onto from your computer onto, say, your phone, you're transcoding, right? So right now, the CPU's got to be doing all of that with its cores. However, all I have to do is go into OBS, toggle on QuickSync Video, and as you can see, now you have three pieces at work here. So instead of just your cores working overtime and just your GPU working overtime, now the processor graphics, which takes up, as you can see, about 50% or more of the CPU, that's going to work because the QuickSync Video is actually hardware transcoding. So that big piece of CPU real estate, that's going to work, and it's doing all your transcoding for you. So now you see the CPU dropping, utilization dropping way down, but what do you actually see? What you actually see is the frame rates for your game going way back up. So you're putting less load on your CPU, you're getting a better gaming experience, a smoother stream, and that was a very simple toggle on OBS, enabling QuickSync Video. Cool. If you want to know kind of how this is done, just come down to our Intel booth. We'll actually walk you through step by step how simple it is to enable QuickSync Video. And you're wondering, okay, Mark, that's cool. I mean, I love better frame rates, smoother streams. What am I paying for this? So I would love to tell you to go out and grab the latest 6th Gen Intel Core i7 processor, which that would be great if you did. But if you have a 2nd Gen Core processor or newer, you already have Intel QuickSync Video built in. So you probably already have this. We just want you to enable it to use it so that you're getting the best usage out of your CPU, both on the hardware encoding as well as your CPU cores. Better frame rates, smoother streams, that's really our goal for you. Cool. Now Frank is going to talk to you about getting the biggest? No, not always the biggest, but the baddest, the most badass gaming rigs.
Badass. I'm glad you said it first.
So yes.
So we're going to talk a little bit about what's going on with desktop and desktop technologies. You know what a desktop is, right?
I love desktops.
There you go. So when you're thinking about building your own system, even if you're buying your own system, there's a couple of components here you really need to focus on. Of course, the CPU, like the heart and the brains of the platform, heart and brains of your gaming rig. You also think about the motherboard and the chipset on it and the SSDs on that platform as well. So I'm going to go through them kind of one by one, give you my perspective on why it's important for you to look at those things. From a CPU side of things, Intel's been completely dedicated to this segment of the market for a long time. I mean, 2003 was our first Extreme Edition processor for gaming and for overclockers. And in 2010, we actually gave you the KSQ series to bring overclocking a little bit more into mainstream performance for gamers. And last month at Gamescom Germany, you guys were, anybody happen to be there? It's cool if you can get out there. Yeah, right on. So
she just raised her hand. She was happy to be there.
Oh, that's right. It was very cool because it was just a month ago we launched our latest 6th Gen core processors there, our unlocked processors. We had Core i5K and Core i7K. So anytime you see a K on our processors, means it's unlocked. And unlocked means you can overclock the frequencies and get even more performance out of them. So we have 4 cores, 8 threads. That means 4 gigahertz per CPU. And with overclocking, you can really crank the performance of that up. On top of that all, you got DDR4 memory. This is the first time we're getting DDR4 memory from like just the stratosphere where it's not even affordable anymore, and bringing it more and more into mainstream gaming. So in addition to the CPU, what you need to have is the right motherboard and the right motherboard with the right chipset. And this is a Z-series chipset. With the Z-series chipset, not only can you overclock the processor, it gives you the capability to overclock the processor, but you also can overclock integrated graphics, what we were talking about earlier. You can also overclock system memory. So now you can crank out more performance and tune that system to be the best performing system that you can get. And on top of all that, our chipset, our Z170 chipset, actually has PCI Express 3.0. Like, what the heck is important about PCI Express? For you guys, we're using SATA drives. Even if you're using SSD SATA drives, this is a crazy amount of performance increase. So I'm talking a little bit more about what's going on with our latest generation of 750 PCI Express enabled SSDs. On this kind of a platform, this is going to operate 4 times faster than a non-PCI Express SSD. And if you're still using rotating media, I know some of you are, it's okay. We're going to help you out with that. But if you're still using a rotating media hard drive, it's 13 times faster than that. And then you couple things in like RealSense and QuickSync, and you get a pretty awesome gaming rig. So
we do what we can. We try.
Yeah. So couple all these together, it's pretty amazing. You think, okay, well that's if you build your own, Frank, but those are the exact same things that you look for when you go buy your PC gaming rig from the PC manufacturers. And there's a crazy amount of them available right now. They're all built on 6th Gen Core. Dell Alienware has got a platform. HP Envy Phoenix, Lenovo Y Series, Asus ROG type platforms, Republic Gaming. Acer's got the Predator series. And those are some of the bigger names, but there's a lot of local, smaller manufacturers like iBuyPower and CyberPower that are building amazing gaming rigs. And they're doing things that are hard to do if you're going to build your own. So between building your own and getting access to gaming rigs that are built for you, you can have the best platform possible for gaming. Going back to what's at our booth, go see some kind of cool things at our booth. We've got the tiniest Extreme Edition gaming system I've ever seen. We've got some tower gaming rigs that are actually using RealSense. And then there was something I'd only seen for the first time today. There's actually a tower system. I thought it was just, it was a gaming tower. But inside of it is actually 2 motherboards. So you actually have 2 PCs in one chassis design. And we're seeing people do it that is completely dedicated to gaming, as much performance as they get, and the other side is dedicated to streaming. I think Matt Letts was telling me earlier about this guy whose game crashed, but he was still streaming, and so he was talking to the guys online saying, hey, help me debug this and get his system going again. It's pretty cool. But that's not all that's cool. We're doing some pretty amazing things in notebooks. As cool as much as I love desktop, and I'm glad you know what desktops are, we've got some pretty cool notebook gaming machines that Mark's going to talk to you about.
Thanks, Frank. So one of the things that we hear from a lot of streamers, wherever we're at, like we're at Gamescom or we're at PAX, people come up and they ask, what's the right, what would you recommend for a streaming notebook, right? It's almost like that Blender video, will it blend, right? Will it stream? Is this notebook going to stream? And they come up and they're like, oh, I have this old notebook. It's so heavy. I have to go to the chiropractor after that. Okay, they've never said anything about a chiropractor. But, it's heavy, it's old, it's slow. I don't get the right frame rates, or it's not able to stream. So we get that question everywhere we go. What notebook would you recommend for streaming? So today we're going to kind of go through kind of things to look for. So I can sit here and talk to you all day long about gaming notebooks. Pretty much only I would probably be interested in that. But
I would be interested
I would sit there and be more than happy to talk to you all day about that. But what I want to do is go through kind of things to look for, and then also give you a couple ideas of what other popular streamers are using, so that you can kind of get a good start on what to look for a gaming and streaming notebook. First of all, like Frank said, we just announced and launched the 6th Gen family of processors. So the really cool thing about that on notebooks, first, you're getting up to 17 times faster video conversion, right? So we just explained what video conversion or transcoding is. You need it for streaming. You need it to get your VODs ready to upload, ripping movies, all that stuff. So you're getting that up to 17 times faster than you would on an old 5-year-old notebook. So you can see in this example, it might be a little bit hard to see, but you get a giant, 1.5 gig file, and instead of waiting 40 minutes for it to render, how about 2.5 minutes? Does that work better for anybody? Does anybody want to do, a video every day, right? Why wait for it to render? That guy over there, he wants to do a video. He's doing a video right now as we speak. Do you want to wait almost an hour for it to render, or just a couple of minutes? You're getting that right out of the box with the new 6th Gen core processor. Also, I know we love gaming, we love streaming, but sometimes you got to unplug, right? You got to go to school, you got to go to work, you got to go to TwitchCon. All right, you got to unplug, and against the same old notebook, a new 6th Gen core processor notebook can get you up to 3 times better battery life. So that's convenient for anybody who has to unplug to go around town or go around across the country. So that's on the sort of the family side, but let's drill down a little bit more. So I know, we're gamers, we're streamers, right? What do we need specifically for us? So when you're looking online or you're looking at the store, look at the processor number. So we already saw the 6th Gen, but then you start looking down the line and you stop when you see the H. So what happens when you see the H? That means you're getting 4 cores. And when you get the i7 H series, you're getting 4 cores and 8 threads. So you get a 4-core hyper-threaded system. So we all know what hyper-threading is, right, Frank?
Boy, I do.
Okay. Well,
but does everybody?
Yeah, you might want to give a little.
Okay, all right, hyper-threading. So I'm going to do a quick analogy. So it's like you got a giant bowl of M&Ms, right? And your job is to eat all these M&Ms. So without hyper-threading,
I'm with you on that.
That's right.
Okay.
So that's my daily job, is to eat these M&Ms. And without hyper-threading, you have one hand shoving these M&Ms in your mouth as fast as you possibly can. With hyper-threading, you have both hands shoveling these M&Ms in your mouth as fast as you possibly can. With 4 cores, you have you and 3 friends shoveling M&Ms with both hands as fast as you can into your mouth, so that you're able to eat that bowl of M&Ms much faster than you would just doing it one-handed at a time. So multitasking, inherently, when you're streaming and you're gaming, that's multitasking, because you're doing 2 heavy workloads at the same time. And we absolutely recommend getting a 4-core hyper-threaded system, which you can get in a Core i7 H series processor notebook. And the other thing too, so that's the 4-core processor. You're getting better multitasking. But one of the other things that is really important is that only on the H platform do you get full 16 lanes of PCIe Gen 3. So why is that important? So with that, you're actually able to max out your graphics card. with the full 16 lanes of PCIe. So why would you get this awesome notebook, amazing graphics card, and then throttle it, right? Absolutely wouldn't want to do that, and only with the H series platform are you able to take full advantage of your graphics card. So better multitasking, taking full advantage of your graphics card. Make sure you get the H Core i7. And then the next one is similar to what Frank mentioned, right? So we just launched the Skylake K-series unlock processor.
But that's a first. That's the first time ever, right?
On desktop, we launched that,
yeah.
But for the very first time, we're bringing that to the notebook. And so all you have to do is, again, look down the line, hit the H, you get all that good stuff, and then K, that means it's unlocked for overclocking.
Cool.
And you get two flavors of that, right? So you can get it overclocked straight from the factory. So you call up Alienware or MSI or any of these popular manufacturers, and they'll ship you a system factory overclocked. So you don't have to lift a finger or do anything to overclock. Or you can tune your own PC with Intel Extreme Tuning Utility, or XTU. So that works both desktop and notebook. And you know what? We'll give it to you for free. Just go on Intel.com, type in XTU, and you can download it for free. And if it still sounds a little bit daunting, come down to our booth. We'll actually walk you through it and show you step by step exactly how to do it. So, as promised, I'm not going to go through every single notebook, gaming notebook in the world. But here are a couple ones that, again, we have in our booth. Just kind of want to highlight real quick. So the Aorus X5, less than an inch thick, most powerful 15-inch SLI thin and light gaming notebook out there. Co-Carnage, he uses it, he loves it. He says it can do pretty much everything that his two computers at home can do. The MSI GT72, this is what we use for most of our events. It comes overclocked. We had about 20 streamers at PAX cycle through this over 4 days. The Alienware 15 and the 17, we had Hafu and Nothing from Cloud9. They were streaming and playing on the highest settings for a whole week at CES on these systems, and they absolutely had no glitches, no issues or anything like that. So again, this is not the end-all be-all, but this is a good place to start. Come down to our booth and get hands-on. So the question is, where's that Intel booth? So unfortunately for most of the people online, you probably won't be able to hang out with us at our booth, but on the first floor, just follow the arrow, and then come check out Chuck at the RealSense booth on the second floor. And also we have an Intel Gaming Lab, so you can get hands-on with all the great Intel technology as well.
Yeah, and just real quick, I should have mentioned this when I was playing the game earlier. The game that you saw is actually in that booth that he just said. So if you want to get hands-on with it yourself, feel free to stop on by. I'm happy to discuss anything about that game with you if you like. We also have a few other games in that booth, so please, I'd love to see each and every one of you guys there.
Actually, at the booth, we're going to have a bunch of streamers too, right?
That's right. So here's also our schedule for streamers. A lot of them are going to be streaming on their channel. So from day 1 to day 2, we're going to have folks like Anna Prosser Robinson, Co-Carnage. Kitty's going to be at our booth. I think she's going to be building a pretty awesome, badass rig.
Build.
So definitely be sure to check that out on their channels as well.
Actually, what I like about Co-Carnage is we keep talking about notebook and desktop. I was on his website, on his page the other day.
That's right.
And he was actually talking about Extreme Edition desktop. And he's talking about notebooks. And that's one guy that can get it all. It's pretty cool.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yep. Thanks for hanging out with us, guys.
Thanks, guys.